Have you ever thought of counting records, sales, or customer transactions, count non-missing or missing or blank cells, or counting records based on a single criteria or multiple set of criterias? Hi, I am Duty, and today I am going to talk about functions such as count, count A, count blank, countif, countifs, and array formula to solve these challenges discussed. Come to my screen, I'll show you how to solve these problems. Now, let's say the set of cells which I have selected, the name given is data, and here I wanted to find out how many total cells are present in this data. Okay, so for that, if I have to count, so what I will do is there is a function called rows function which will give you number of rows, and there is a function called columns function which will give you numbers of columns. Okay, for the selected cells. So what I will do is I'll write this formula equal to rows, and within the rows function I will use data into columns. In the columns I will again use data. Okay, so this will give me total number of cells. Okay, now how to find out blank cells? So to count the blank cells we will use count blank function. So I will write equal to count blank, and then I will give my range as data. So it has given me blank cells as 6. So similarly, if you have to count non-blank cells, so for that you can use count A function. So I will use count A, and then I will pass my range as data. Okay, so there are 14 cells which are blank. Now, in this, if I wanted to know how many cells have numeric values, so for that, I have to use count function. So I will say count on data. Okay, so I got total number of cells as 7. So you can even see total cells are 20. So if I add blank cells and non-blank cells, so this become 20. Okay, now next is, for example, I wanted to find out how many text cells are there. Okay, so to do this, first of all, you need to understand how to know that a given cell has text value. So for that separately, I'll show you. Here, let's say I'm writing equal to is text. So this is my logical function which checks whether the cell which we have selected has text value or not. So if the value is a text value, let's say I'm selecting the cell as A1. Okay, so here if the value is a text value, it will give me the result as true. Okay, what if I have a non-text value? So it should give me the result as false. Okay, so let's say what I'll do is I'll drag this both the sides. Okay, uh, so till 21 I have taken. So total number of cells are 20. So 10 rows I have selected. So now in this, let's say if I have to find how many cells are text and non-text. So what I'll do is I will encode this as 1 and 0. Okay, so I will say equal to if. So if function is used to test the logical value, and if the logical test is true, then we have to give what we want to have as true, otherwise we have to give false. So let's say I am writing if this cell, that is E12, equal to true, so then I want to take the value as 1, otherwise 0. Okay, so I'm telling you the logic, I'm going behind the logic in the back, and then I will tell you how to do it in a single line. Now, these 1 and 0 which I have encoded, what I'll do is I'll find the sum of this. Okay, so sum of these set of ranges, if I do, I'm getting as 3. So point here is there is no specific count function which will count the text cells or non-text cells or logical or error values. Instead, what you have to do is you have to use an array formula to count the cells which has non-text, text, logical or error values. Okay, because count function will only count the cells with numeric value. So this is the logic via which you can count the let's say text value. So if I have to do this in a single line, I have to use an array formula. Means I have to give my conditions on a range. So here on a single cell, I have written my formula. If I am going to write my formula on a range, then the formula will be referred as an array formula. So here you can see, suppose if I have to find the count of text cells, so you can see here in this data cell, so I have how many text cells? So I have Jan, Feb and total. Please note that true and false, they are logical value. They are not the text value. That also we will check. So for text cell, what I'll do is I'll say here equal sum, and then in the bracket I will say if, and then logical test. So for logical test, I will say is text. In the is text, instead of single cell, I will write data equal to true, then I will take the value as 1, otherwise 0. Okay. So then please note that if you are using Excel versions below 2021, you have to use Control Shift Enter to execute your array formula. My case, I am using Excel 2021, so I will just enter uh, to execute this formula. Okay, so here like this I have done. Okay, so you can see the result of text cells, count of text cells are 3. So you can match it. Now similarly for non-text cells, what I will do, I will write equal to sum if, and in the if, logical test will be is non-text of data equal to true, comma 1, comma 0. Like this I will say. Okay, and then I will enter. So I have got total non-text cells as 17. Similarly, logical values, for that we will use is logical function, okay, to test. Okay, so I will say equal to sum if is logical, and is logical, the value will be here data, comma true, comma 1, comma 0. So this will give me the number of logical values, which you can see true and false is a logical value. And similarly for error value, we will use is error function. Okay, so first I will say equal to sum if, and then I will say is error, and then in that I will use data equal to true, comma 1, comma 0. So this is how you can find total cells, blank cell, non-blank cell, numeric values, non-text cells, text cells, logical values and error values. Okay. Now next we will see, suppose if we have a criteria, and based on criteria if we have to count the cells, so for that we will use COUNTIF. And if we have multiple criterias which are in AND, then we will use COUNTIFS. So please note that always you may not have criteria in AND, means all the conditions compulsorily need not to be met. Any of the conditions have to be met. Then in that case, we are going to use array formula. Okay. Now I have taken a table of sales representative with respective month, the type of sales and amount. Okay. And for my convenience to write my formula, I have given the name to my cell ranges. Like for this cell from D2 to D27, you can see the name box. The name given here is amount. Okay. So respectively for other cell ranges also, like for sales rep, I have given the name as sales rep, and for the months I have given the cell ranges as month. Okay. So which you can see in the name box. These are the names given. Okay. Now what I will do is, let's say I have to find out how many sales done above 1000. Okay, so to do this, what I can do, I have one criteria in which amount has to be greater than 1000. So for that, what I'll do is I'll use count if. Okay, so I will say count if. Let's see what are the parameters to be passed. So in this case, first you have to give the range on which you are going to give the criteria, and followed by the criteria. Okay, so range will be on amount. Okay, so I will say amount, comma criteria, we have to give in quotation. So you can watch my previous video on sum function. in which you can see that how I have given the criteria. So here, so criteria has to be greater than 1000. So I will write greater than 1000. And I request you to please like, subscribe the channel and share this video with someone who really require this. And apart from that, please comment and let me know that what kind of topics in data analytics or data science you wanted to see. So you can see I have got 5 such sales which are above 1000. Now let's say I wanted to know how many sales are done above 100 but below 200. So in this case, there are more than single condition. So in that, we will use COUNTIFS. So I will write equal to COUNTIFS. Okay. Now you can see first in this case, I have to give the criteria range. So criteria range, you can see this amount has to be above 100, below 200, means amount greater than 100 and amount less than 200. Okay. So I will say amount, comma, in the quotation, I will say greater than 100, comma, again I will say amount, comma, in quotation I will say less than 200. Okay. So like this. So I have 4 such sales. Okay. So please note that COUNTIFS gives result only for AND conditions. All the conditions are meeting, then COUNTIF will give you the result. Okay. Now, let's say this time I wanted to know January sales for Brooks that exceed 1000. Okay. So in which cells I have to give my condition? I have to give my conditions on month. Month has to be January, sales rep has to be Brooks, and amount has to exceed 1000. Okay. So I will say equal to COUNTIF, COUNTIFS, because multiple conditions are there. So COUNTIFS, criteria range will be on month and criteria will be, now on equality we will just give in quotation, and please note that textual values have to be exact match, spellings have to match, then only you will get the desired result. So month is January, then next one is sales rep, comma, it has to be Brooks, comma, and amount has to be greater than 1000. So this you have to put in quotation with the operator. Okay, like this you have to do. So you can see you have got 2 such sales which are in January for sales rep Brooks and exceed 1000. Okay. Now please don't forget to download the Excel sheet which is given and you can use it for your practice. You can see the video and you can accordingly learn how to do it. Then this next question is you need to find out January and February sales. Now together it cannot be sales in the month equal to January and month equal to February. This is not possible. So this is like either the month has to be January or the month has to be February. Okay. So this is in or. So in such cases, I cannot use count ifs. So I have to use array formula. Okay. Now in array formula, please note that if you have multiple conditions and if they are in AND condition, you have to use star to combine the condition. If they are in OR condition, you have to use plus. So in this case, month is either January or February. So what I will do is I will write here equal to sum if, and in the if I will say month equal to, in quotation I will say January. Okay. And what I'll do is to combine this I will use plus because they are in OR. So I will say month equal to, in quotation, February. So then in that case what we want, if either of these conditions are met, I will take 1 comma 0. Okay. So now you see I have got 17 such sales which are either in the month of January or in February. Okay. Now similarly, let's say I wanted to find the sales which are done in January, or they are done by Brook, or the amount is greater than 1000. So for that, what we will do is we will again use the array formula. So for that, I will write equal to sum if, in the if. So I have three such conditions. So I will take each condition in separate bracket and I will combine them with plus. So I will say month equal to January, close the bracket, then again plus. Then I will take sales rep equal to Brooks. Okay. Then again I'll take plus and I will say amount equal to, so this time it is greater than 1000. So please note that in array formula, we don't have to give with operator in quotation directly. You can write the way we write our conditions. Okay. Comma. So we will, if either of the condition is met, we'll take it as 1, otherwise 0. And their sum will give us count. Okay. So we have 17 such sales which are either done in January or done by Brooks or amount greater than 1000. Now next is, you have to get January sales for Brooks or January sales for Cook. So in this case, you can see we have both and or conditions. Okay. So please note that for combining conditions in and, we have to use star, and for combining conditions in or, we will use plus. So I will say sum if, and then I will take month equal to January, followed by, we'll close the bracket, and we will take common for sales representative Brooks and Crooks. Okay, so for that, what we'll do is star, and we will take one more bracket, and we will take sales rep equal to Brooks, and we'll use plus to combine, and we'll take again sales rep equal to Cook. Okay, close the bracket, comma, will take as 1, otherwise 0. Okay, so then we have bracket for if closed and sum closed. Okay, so you can see there are 6 such sales which are done in January, either by Brooks or Cook. So please let me know in comments how did you like the video, and please let me know the topics in which you want me to make the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this channel to the needy people, and let's meet in the next video. Thank you. See you. Take care.